सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। We are studying the Brahma Sutras, first chapter, first pada, sixth adhikarana, the 17th sutra, and we are now looking at the commentary of Bhagavata Shankaracharya on the 17th sutra. The sutra is Bheda Vyapadeshat Cha. That is, here difference or distinction between that which is an essence or of the nature of essence and that which gets essence from it. So, raso vaisaha, indeed that principle is essence. Rasam hi eva ayam labdva anandi bhavati. And it is definitely from there that all this universe or the Jivatma attains Ananda because of this rasa. It has been clearly stated here. So therefore, here we have to understand that the essence which has been told here, that essence is definitely Atma, because it is different from this universe created by Ajnana. So that is what is being explained here. So yesterday we saw up to Pratishidyata evatu paramarthatah sarvajnat parameshwarat anyah drashta shrota va na anyo atosti drashta Bhagavadgita Upanishad ityadi. So paramarthatah sarvajnat pratishidyata, any entity which is all knowing, omniscient, other than Parameshwara, other than Parameshwara. So Parameshwarat anyah, other than Parameshwara or the Supreme Atman, there is no entity which is omniscient, or also there is no entity which is the seer or the hearer. Na anyoha atah asti drashta, na anyotosti drashta Bhagavadgita Upanishad. So there is no other seer other than the Supreme Atman or Brahman that has been told here. That being the case, this Anandamaya, now that is the discussion which is going on, that the word or the phrase Anandamaya, which occurs in the Taittiriya Upanishad after the reference to Anandamaya Kosha, whether this Anandamaya refers to the Anandamaya Kosha or whether it refers to Atman or Brahman. So by various arguments, Bhagavata Shankaracharya, also the Brahma Sutras, have proven that Anandamaya refers to Supreme Brahman. Now we will continue with the commentary of Bhagavata Shankaracharya on the 17th Sutra, Bheda Vyapadeshat Cha. Bheda Vyapadeshat Cha. Parameshwarah tu avidya kalpitat sharirat kartru bhoktru vijnana atma khyad anyah. Yatha maya vinah charma khadgadharat sutrena akasham adhirohatah sa eva mayavi paramartha rupo bhumishtha anyah. Parameshwarah tu avidya kalpita sharirat. So Parameshwara, here Parameshwara means the supreme Atman. That Parameshwara tu means but, or we can use it in the sense of indeed. That is avidya kalpita sharirat. Kartru bhoktru vijnana atma khyad anyah. So it is anyah. Parameshwara or the supreme Atman is different. Different from whom? Different from avidya kalpita sharirat, from the body which is kalpita, which has been imagined, which has been created or imagined by avidya, by ignorance or maya or ajnana. So the supreme soul is different from the body which is imagined because of ignorance, because of maya. And that body is also kartru bhoktru vijnana atma akhyat anyah. That which is akhya, called, that which is labeled or called or known as kartru, doer, bhoktru, experiencer, vijnana, knower. So this Parameshwara is different from the doer, experiencer, knower. So kartru atma, bhoktru atma, vijnana atma. From that it is different. How is it different? Yatha, just like Maya vinah charma khadga dharat. So a person who is a magician. So there is, in the olden days, there used to be different type of magic trick. So there this trick would be that a magician would raise a rope. So it was famously called the Indian rope trick. There will be a rope, it will go straight into the sky. So that's a magic. It will go into the sky straight. And on that, the magician will climb on that rope. And that's an illusion which is created. It's not true, it's illusion. So that rope, this person will climb. Sometimes this person will have some weapons also, all that will be there with the magician who is climbing a rope, which suddenly just like that becomes straight, it goes to the sky. So many films have shown this kind of a thing. Of course, it's all make believe. And so here that example is used. Yatha, just like, so it seems during Shankaracharya's time, Bhagavad Shankaracharya's time, which is generally accepted as 788 to 820. During that time, it seems this magic trick was very much in vogue. So, Yatha, just like Maya Vinaha, of the magician, Charma Khadga Dharat. Charma means the shield, Khadga means sword. A magician who is holding the sword and shield, Sutrena Akasham Adirohatah. Sutrena, by the rope Akasham adirohatah, one who is going up, who is climbing the sky, literally speaking. So it appears like that because this rope will go up, and one cannot see where it is going. The other end of the rope becomes invisible. So this person is also walking on that, holding on to that rope, is getting up. Whereas on the ground, the same magician will be standing also. So it's an illusion. So the magician will also go on top of the rope, but the same magician will be standing on the ground. So sa eva mayavi paramartha rupo bhumishtah anyah. So similarly, absolutely speaking, paramartha rupa, that same magician who is standing bhumishta, means who is on the ground, who is standing on the ground, that magician is different from the magician who is going up on the rope. Why? Because logically, a person cannot be at two places at the same time. So logically also they are different. And also because the magician who is climbing up the rope, that magician is also illusory. It's not real, it is illusion. Another example is being given. So again, I am clarifying this example because we have not seen this. So it needs clarification. So there were magic tricks where the great Indian rope trick. This Swamiji also refers to when he goes to the United States, he refers to this. And in many advertisements where they advertised in newspapers that Swamiji was to speak, there they will say, from the land of the great Indian rope trick comes Swami Vivekananda, of course, with lot of spelling mistakes about Swamiji's name. Some will say V. Kananda. Some places they say Vakananda, etc. And that American tradition continues. Whenever a president comes, they invariably misspell or mispronounce Swamiji's name. So that great Indian rope trick, as Swamiji saw, was that a person will come and take a rope. Some of we are obsessed with rope and snake and also the rope trick. So that rope will be kept, and then suddenly a coiled rope will be kept, and suddenly the rope will start going up like that of its own. Straight it will go up. That is Indian rope trick. But here, added to that, the magician will become two. And another version of the magician will have a sword and also a shield, and will just like that walk on the rope and go up. So that was the trick. So here, the person who is going up is definitely not the person who is standing on the ground, because a person cannot be at two places at the same time. Similarly, the principle or the entity which is essence, which is giving bliss, cannot be the same as that which is receiving bliss. That is the logic here. Earlier also it was told, labdhaiva labdhavya na bhaviti, nahi labdhaiva labdhavyo bhavati. So a person who has got something, or something which you have already got, cannot be your goal. Suppose you have already got wealth. Wealth cannot be your goal. You cannot have a goal of something which you already have attained. Labdha eva. So the attainer cannot be attained. That was the idea. So here also, Ananda is already there in Brahman. So it cannot be something which is getting Ananda. So it has to be the Supreme Soul, the Brahman, which gives Ananda. So this example is that the magician who is on the rope is not the magician who is on the ground. They have to be different, because it is the magician on the ground who is making this illusion. So the person who is making the illusion cannot be part of the illusion also. So they are different. Yathava Also, another example, just like va means or just like ghatakashad upadi parichinnat anupadi aparichinna akashah anyah. Ghatakashad upadi parichinnat. So parichinna means limited. Limited by upadi, the limiting adjunct. So bounded by parichinna, bounded by the limiting adjunct or the limitation or the superimposition of ghata, of a pot. So ghata akasha, the space inside a pot is limited by the pot. Space inside a pot is limited by the limiting adjunct or the superimposition of pot. There is open space and you keep a pot there. So that open space that is covered by the pot, both inside and outside, that open space is now called pot. Now you cannot show the point to the pot and say it is open space. Why can't you do that? Because then other people will take you to some asylum or something. That is why you can't do that. So pot is kept on in an open space. Before you keep the pot in the open space, that open space was open space. You say here we have space. Then you keep a pot there. Again, another thing which Indian philosophers are obsessed with is pot. Always there will be a ghata. Now, of course, if someone were to write a bhashya now, it will be mobile, of course. We don't need to argue about that. So if there is a pot kept, then what do you call that space? You no more call that space. You call it pot. Because that space has been conditioned or limited by this form called pot. Both inside and outside. So inside the space also you will not say space. Inside the pot, the space is there. You will say in the pot. You are not going to say inside the space which is inside the pot. Why will you not say? For the same reason which I told earlier. Okay, if you talk like that, people are going to be very serious. So, and you are going to become a serious patient. So, pot, if a pot is kept in open space, suddenly the space occupied externally and internally by the pot, all is termed as pot. Everything is called pot. So what has happened? The space has taken a different name. So open space has been conditioned by this form pot, or it is called upadi, means it is a limitation. It is limited. Space has got a boundary of pot. So the space inside the pot, which is called ghata akasha. Akasha means space. Ghata akasha means space covered by the pot. Because it is limited by the superimposition called pot, anupadi aparichinna akasha anyah. It is anyah, different from the space which is not limited and which is not covered. So when you kept a pot in an open space, that space covered by the pot has definitely become different from the space which is other than the pot, which is open space. So similarly, idrisham, in the same manner, cha, vigya, and in the same manner, vigyana atma paramatma vedam ashritya na itarah anupapaddehe veda vyapadeshacha iti yuktam. So vedam ashritya, following or depending on the difference. What difference? Vijnana Atma Paramatma. the Atma or the Brahman, which when seen from the eyes of ignorance, when seen from the prism of ignorance, it appears as Vijnanamaya Kosha. So that Vijnanam Atma, the knower Atman, that is, knower means not like Sakshi knower, but like a Jivatma knower. That Atman is different from Supreme Atman or Brahman. Basing this difference, na itaraha anupatpatte. So the 16th sutra, na itara anupapatte, means it cannot be, it is illogical to say that something other than Brahman is Anandamaya. It is illogical to say that a jiva or another living being is Anandamaya. And Bheda Vyapadeshacha. And also because it has been instructed, this difference has been instructed in the Upanishad, it has been taught in the Upanishad. That is why iti uktam. That is why these two sutras have been told. Because there is a difference between the Atman, which is knowing, and the Atman, which is the Supreme Atman. Now we move on to the 18th sutra. Kamacha na anumana apeksha. Kamat cha na anumana apeksha. So here the discussion is primarily between Advaita Vedanta and Sankhya, which we have to understand. The discussion is primarily between Advaita Vedanta and Sankhya. Okay. This discussion is between these two people. So what is the discussion? Whether this discussion was there earlier also. Now in between we went to the discussion that in the Taittiriya Upanishad, the phrase Anandamaya, which comes after the description of Panchakoshas, that Anandamaya refers to Brahman and not to anything else. But before we entered this discussion, there was another discussion going on, that the principle called Pradhana in Sankhya philosophy, which is a non-conscious principle, an insentient principle, that principle is the cause of this universe. Say the Sankhyans or the followers of Sankhya philosophy. But how can something which is insentient be the creator of, cause of this universe, which of course has sentient beings in it, was the objection raised by Advaita Vedantins. Now again, we come back to that same question. The 18th sutra, Kamat cha na anumana apeksha. What does it mean? In the portion of the Upanishad, that is Taittiriya Upanishad, we see the statement Saha Akamayata. Brahman desired. So there, the capability to desire has been told in the Upanishad, in the Vedas, in the Shruti. Whereas Pradhana, as per Sankhya philosophy, Pradhana, the principle called Pradhana, which according to Sankhya philosophy is the cause of this universe, that Pradhana is inferred, Anumana Apeksha. Anumana Apeksha. That is inferred. Pradhana is understood by inference, Anumana. So that pradhana cannot be. Na means it cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be what? It cannot be the cause of this universe. Why? Because pradhana being jada or insentient, pradhana being matter, how can it have the quality of desire? In the Upanishad it is told, saha akamayata. So it desired, Brahman desired. So how can, if you say that pradhana is the cause of this universe, then this desire should have been made by pradhana. How is it possible? How can something which is insentient, which is unconscious or non-conscious, can have desire? It cannot desire. Only a person who is conscious, only a principle which is conscious can desire. According to Sankhya philosophers themselves, pradhana is not having any chaitanya, it is not having any consciousness, it is not having any sentience. So it cannot think. That was the argument raised in the previous sutras. Pradhana cannot think. So how can you say that it desired? So that is why pradhana cannot be the cause of this universe, because that which desires to become many, that which desires to become blissful, that principle cannot be pradhana, which is a principle which is the creation of inference. That principle is anumana gamya. It is arrived at by inference. So there are 6 methods of knowledge, 6 pramanas. What are they? Pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, like that. Shabda, anupalabdhi, arthapatti. These are the 6 pramanas. So of those 6 pramanas, the second pramana, inference, anumana. So anumana, the example given is yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vahmi. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. That is how rumors also operate. So they say, oh, so much is going on, definitely something will be there. Need not be. So this principle which is inferred cannot be Anandamaya, because that principle which is said to be Anandamaya is also said to have desired. And so the quality of desiring cannot take place in a principle which is insentient. So it is not Anandamaya. Now we will go on to see the commentary of Bhagavadpada Shankaracharya on this sutra, that is 18th sutra, Kamacha na Anumana Apeksha. Apeksha means you cannot expect that from which, or that which is inferred from that principle, you cannot expect desiring or the action of desire. You cannot expect. It is not possible. Bhagavadpada Shankaracharya says, Anandamaya adhikarecha so akamayata bahusyam prajayeya iti kamayitritva nirdeshat na anumanikam api sankhya parikalpitam acetanam pradhanam anandamayattvena karanattvena va apekshitavyam. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the 2nd chapter, 6th section, there is this sentence, Saha akamayata, so kamayata, bahusyam prajayeya. That means it desired, Bahusyam, I will become many, Prajayeya, I will produce, I will create progeny. That is the desire. So this comes in Anandamaya Adhikare. In the Anandamaya Prakarana or the Anandamaya section of Taittiriya Upanishad, or it is generally called Anandavalli. Anandavalli of Taittiriya Upanishad. There this statement comes. Iti, in this manner, Kama Yitritva Nirdeshat. There is the instruction or teaching. Nirdesha means teaching or instruction of Kama Yitritva, of, or it has been mentioned, of Kama Yitritva, the quality of desiring. The quality of desiring. That a person has the capability of desiring. Here the person means the entity which desires. So kamayata or saha akamayata, it desired. By this phrase, it goes without saying that whatever that saha is, whatever that it is, it has the quality of being able to desire. So somebody is saying, he saw, so that he cannot be visually challenged, that he cannot be blind. Why? Because he saw. So if he saw means automatically he has the quality of seeing. He has the capacity of seeing. That is why he saw. So that is how we understand sometimes that a person is telling lie or the truth. Because somebody said, oh, I made rockets. So you immediately understand that cannot be rocket which is launched in our ISRO space station. That could be Diwali rocket. Because I made rocket. The person who is saying maybe a school going child. So I made rocket. So he cannot make rocket. So the conclusion is this is some cracker rocket he is talking about. Or maybe the paper rocket also they make. When the class is very boring, paper rocket. So that rocket he is talking about, we can immediately understand. Similarly, when somebody is saying he saw, and that person cannot see, means he did not saw, he thought about it. He cannot see, so he thought about it. But if a person is seeing and he said that my eyes were blinded, these words are used. My eyes were blinded by the beauty. So he did not become blind. What his meaning is that the beauty is so astounding beauty that he was blinded by the beauty or dazzling beauty, etc. So nothing dazzled there. Beauty was more. This we understand. Similarly, if saha akamayata, it desired, it goes without saying that whatever that it is. Of course, I'm not referring to ghost. There is a movie called It about ghost. People who are afraid don't see that movie. So not that it, but some principle which is referred to here as saha, that principle has the quality of desiring. That is why it is told in the Upanishad, saha akamayatana. Upanishad, why will it lie? So that is taken care of. So here, that principle desired. So that is why kamayitritva means the quality of desiring. Nirdeshat, because it has been instructed or it has been told. Anumanikam api. Anumanikam api means also. Api also. Anumanikam means that which is inferred, that which is understood by inference. Sankhya parikalpitam, that which has been envisaged or that which has been, one can say imagined also, but then Sankhya philosophers might get annoyed. So that which has been posited or presented by Sankhya philosophers. Achetanam, insentient, pradhanam, pradhana, anandamayattvena, karanattvena, va apekshitavyam. So, anandamayattvena, karanattvena. So, because of pradhana being inferred and also pradhana being insentient, it is not possible that it can be told to be Anandamaya. Means the word Anandamaya cannot indicate pradhana. Or va, or it can also not be called the cause karanattvena. It cannot be also called the cause of this universe. We cannot expect it apekshitavyam. We cannot expect it to be the cause, neither it to be Anandamaya, because it does not have the quality, or it cannot have the quality of desiring. Same thing has been talked of in the 5th sutra. There the sutra was Ikshate na ashabdam. Ikshatehe na ashabdam. That is here again quoted by Bhagavata Shankaracharya. He says, Ikshater na shabdam iti nirakritam api pradhanam purva sutra udahritam kamayitritva shrutim ashritya prasangat punah nirakriyate gati samanya prapanchanaya. Gati samanya prapanchanaya. So here ikshatehe na ashabdam. So there ikshatehe na ashabdam, in that sutra it was proved that the cause of the universe cannot be pradhana, because the Shabda or the Vedas, they talk of this cause of the universe being ikshatehe, of it seeing or contemplating. And because pradhana is a non-sentient principle, according to Sankhya philosophers themselves, that is why this cannot be so. Na ikshatehe ashabdam, because it has not been told in the scriptures, in the Vedas. What has not been told in the Vedas? That an insentient principle sees, or insentient principle contemplates. It cannot contemplate because it is insentient. Iti, so here he is saying that in that sutra, nirakritam api, though we have already set aside pradhana as the cause of this universe, in that sutra itself, 5th sutra itself, we have set aside pradhana as the cause of universe. Api, even then, pradhanam, pradhana, purva sutra udahritam, purva sutra udahritam, kamayitritva shruti mashritya. So, though we have already set aside the cause of universe being pradhana, the possibility of pradhana being the cause of the universe, even then, purva sutra udahritam, going by the logic which has been given in the sutra which is just now quoted, that is ikshate na ashabdam. In that, whatever logic is given, what was the logic? The logic there was dhatu artha nirdesha. That means the verb and the meaning of the verb is very clear. So the verb is ikshata, ikshate, ikshata means sees, or the meaning is contemplates. So the verb meaning there is very clear, which is told in the Upanishad. But can a non-sentient or insentient thing contemplate? That which has no consciousness, how can it see or contemplate? Therefore, pradhana is not that. Similarly, here also, kamayitritva shruti mashritya, depending or basing upon the Vedic statement, Shruti, Vedic statement, which talks about kamayitritva. Kamayitritva means the quality of desiring. The same dhatu artha nirdesha we are following here also. The quality of desiring cannot be present in an unconscious principle. And so, kamayitritva shruti mashritya prasangat punaha nirakriyate. We are based on this context, prasangat, based on this context or contextually, punaha nirakriyate. We are once again setting aside or dismissing pradhana as the cause of the universe. Why? Gati samanya prapanchanaya. For the prapanchana, for showing or for depicting, for proving or displaying what? Gati samanya. For displaying that avagati samanya. This also has been discussed in a previous sutra. That samanya, same, avagati. Avagati means understanding or meaning. That is told by the word gati. So the meaning or understanding is same for all Vedic sentences or all Vedanta sentences. That means all Vedanta sentences talk about the same thing, that is the identity of Atman and Brahman. Jiva Brahma Aikya. That is the message or that is the teaching of all Vedantic sentences. The identity of Jiva and Brahma is the teaching of all Vedantic sentences, or the reality of Brahman, the causality of Brahman is the teaching of all Vedantic sentences. What it means is Vedantic sentences will not contradict one another. There will be no self-contradiction in Vedantic sentences. So therefore, because there will be Gati Samanya. They will all have the same import, same meaning. And so therefore, we can safely conclude that the same meaning here also will come as it was in the 5th sutra, for ikshatehe na ashabdam. And so once again we dismiss or once again we set aside pradhana as the cause of this universe. This is what is told till the 18th sutra. Now we go to the 19th sutra. 19th sutra says, Asmin asya cha tadyogam shasti. Asmin asya cha tadyogam shasti. Asminasya cha tadyogam shasti. This is the 19th sutra. Means asmin asya cha tad yogam shasti. What does it mean? It means asmin, of this, of what? In the sentence or in the passage coming in the Taittiriya Upanishad, which we have seen earlier. What is that passage? Yada hi eva esha etasmin adrishye anatme anirukte anilayane abhayam pratishta vindate atha so abhayam gato bhavati Yada hi eva esha etasmin udaram antaram kurute atha tasya bhayam bhavati. So this passage, asmin. So here, etasmin, this refers to Anandamaya. That means it refers to Brahman, which is of the nature of Anandamaya. Asya, then that is Asmin. Then Asya means of this. That means of the Chitta or of the Mumukshu. Mumukshu means Jiva who wants or who desires moksha. Tad yogam tad abhedam. Tad yogam tad abhedam. Tad ayogam. Tad ayogam. Actually, tad ayogam. Tad yogam means tad ayogam. So, tad abhedam. Tad yogam, tad abhedam. So here, tad yogam, tad abhedam. Yogam means what? One, unity. So here, the unity of Jiva with Anandamaya, that is Brahman, tad abhedam. Shasti. Shasti means is being told, is being instructed. So here, Asmin means Anandamaya, Asya, of the Mumukshu or of the Jiva, Tadyogam Shasti. Tadyogam, unity, is being instructed. So, Anandamaya is Brahman. Therefore, why it is Brahman? Because in the Upanishad, as we will see, as the passage I read out, it is said that Anandamaya Brahma and the Mukshu Atman or the Jivatma are essentially one. If they are one, then definitely Pradhana cannot be Anandamaya. Why? Because Jiva is sentient. Jiva is sentient. Jiva is conscious. And Pradhana is unconscious, non-sentient, insentient. So how can Pradhana be one with Jiva, which is sentient? So there is that yoga cannot happen. That abheda, identity cannot happen. Therefore, Anandamaya is definitely Supreme Brahman. That is the logic. Because Tad Yogam Shasti, the scriptures talk about or instruct us about the unity or the identity of Atma and Brahman. And if Atma and Brahman have to be identical, Atma, Brahman here means Anandamaya. If Anandamaya has to be identical with Jivatma, then Anandamaya has to be Brahman. It cannot be something insentient like Pradhana. Because Jivatma is sentient. So anything which is insentient cannot be identical with sentient. They are totally opposite. So this is one reason. Consciousness cannot be identical with unconscious. Sentient cannot be identical with insentient. So that is why the word Anandamaya refers to Pradhana alone, Brahman alone, not Pradhana. We'll see the commentary of Bhagavadgita Shankaracharya next time. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Shubharatri, Shubharatri.